Hey, Roy Zesh, Connection Code Certified Coach. This is Connection Codes 101 Part 7. So fascinating stuff about how the brain works, and now that they have the brain scans that they're able to look at this stuff and really measure it, it's really amazing to see some of the things. One of the fascinating things to me is there's no difference in the way your brain perceives physical pain and emotional pain. So whether you break your leg or get emotional pain from your wife, your brain feels it exactly the same way. And again, your emotions are there to protect you. So then the next time something heads that direction, your emotions are telling you don't go there, trying to protect you. So it's that pattern recognition. The emotions are always there watching, observing the environment, sitting in the background. They're not noticeable until something triggers. But that's why you can have things that just don't make sense sometimes. So someone gets triggered by something, and the other spouse, is sitting there thinking, what in the world just happened? That didn't make any sense. Well, it didn't make any sense to you because you weren't there to see the pattern that they saw somewhere in their past, whether it was a dad, stepdad, boyfriend, whatever, ex-husband, it doesn't matter. There was a pattern, and something you did triggered part of that pattern. And their brain recognized that, and it automatically went into protect mode. And it's just amazing how all that works. And the other thing is when we don't process our emotions, is just realizing what happens though. So we suppress them for years and years, as many of us have been taught. And what we do is they end up, our body stores them. There's just no way to get rid of them. There's several books about this, and just realizing the body keeps a score is one of the more famous ones. And just that when we can't get it out of us in a healthy way, that our body stores it, and it causes all sorts of physical, psychological, emotional problems down the road. And so possibly even a lot of what we call psychological disorders are at least triggered or partially, it's hard to get exact in these things, but at least partially related to these kind of things, to trauma that was not processed. CoRegulation, fascinating thing here. Love this story because they did some tests on people, and they would use electrical shocks to generate pain, and they would have them in scanners so they could monitor what was going on and know what was going on. So they would give them these electrical shocks when they were by themselves, and then they'd come back later and run exactly the same test with exactly the same levels of electrical shock when they weren't by themselves. They had someone they loved and cared was there with them, touching them. Do you believe that the pain that they reported feeling was between 80 and 100% less than the pain they reported feeling when they were by themselves? So when you can process this with someone else who's safe, whether it's pain or any of the other emotions, you're 80%-ish better at it. So it's like if you have a car that gets 20 miles a gallon and then tomorrow it starts getting 100 miles a gallon, that is going to be noticeable, I think, probably for most people. Just amazing how this works. So what we appear to be designed to do is to have the emotions coming out in very small doses all the time. One of the things in Connection Codes we talk about is it's like a river. If you're sitting beside a river and the river is just flowing along, peaceful, gentle, everything's fine. But if a dam gets built upstream, for a little while there's not going to be any water coming by. But if that dam breaks in the future, then it's going to be a big mess. That's where destruction comes, when all that's there. Or another way of looking at it is I can hand you a 1 pound weight. A cell phone weighs about 1 pound. So I can hand you a 1 pound weight twice a day, 3 times a day. It's no big deal. You're barely going to notice it. But over the course of a few weeks of that, I've handed you 500 pounds. So you can handle that 500 pound weight as long as you get it 1 pound at a time. But you can't handle the 500 pound weight once. If I give you 500 pounds all at once, you're going to be on the floor crushed. And so the same with our emotions. We're meant to let them out a little bit at a time, day by day, minute by minute, as we're experiencing them, to process them so that they're dealt with and we don't have to deal with them again. That they're dealt with. A lot of the smaller ones particularly can be dealt with and you never have to experience them again. Some of the bigger, more traumatic ones, it's going to take a lot more time, a lot more processing. But that's just the way that our emotions are made and the way our amazing human bodies function. Fascinating stuff to me. Until next time.